Hello, everybody. Firstly, thanks ever so much for staying to the last session of the day. Very much appreciated. My name is Melanie Bryce, and I am the Oxfordshire Programme Director for Scottish and Southern Electricity Networks. I am also the lead on Project LEO, Local Energy Oxfordshire, which is a £40 million project that is part funded by Innovate UK as part of the PIFA Profiting from the Energy Revolution programme. So it lasts for 3 years and has 9 participants. So we have participants from academia, from the universities. We have Nuve, who are electric vehicle. Sorry. Okay, that's better. Did you catch the first bit? So I was talking about the participants. So we have 9 key participants from academia. We have the councils, we have the community involved, and we have the platform providers as well. So we've heard the 4Ds talked about quite a lot in the previous sessions. So we have some pretty ambitious targets in the UK to get to net zero by 2050. And these are all based around decarbonisation, decentralisation, digitalisation and democratisation. So for decarbonisation in the UK, we want to have 50% of our generation renewable by 2030, and also to have 100% of our cars, electric vehicles that are actually purchased new by 2030. For decentralisation, we are looking at moving away from the centrally generated fossil fuel power stations and more towards the distributed energy resource that everyone's talking about. So for digitalisation, our very important and key thing is the data, and we need to be able to collect this data from our systems. And at the moment, the amount of data that we have on, especially our low voltage system, isn't as good as we would like. So we need to get all that monitoring and equipment in so that we can then use that data to drive the platforms. And the last D is democratisation. So this is getting people involved. We want people to go from being consumers to being prosumers of energy and actually taking some sort of responsibility for their own carbon footprint. So before we started this project, we had a question that we needed to ask. And it was really, what is a local energy system? Because there's lots of different definitions. So in order to bring this to life for you today, I want you to think about your first hour of your day today, where you would have got up and you would have switched on the light, interacting with the electricity system, and then probably gone to the bathroom, switched on a tap, and that's the water system, and then down to switch the heating on, and that's the heating system, and then probably come here today, some form of transport, the car or the train, the transport system. So that's 4 separate systems that at the moment are very, very disparate, and what we're trying to do as part of this project is look at the ways that they can actually be meshed together and used to improve flexibility on the electricity system. So the second thing we needed to define was local. So for me, coming from a distribution network operator, local was quite straightforward. It was the reach of the electricity system. So from the grid supply point all the way down through to the LV feeder. But if you spoke to the local gas people, they would have a different view. The councils use parish boundaries, and some of our platform providers use postcodes. So before we can actually get these trials running properly, we need to define all those things. So at the start of the project, we thought about what are the key themes that we want to be working with, and we came up with community, markets, and technology. So the community really needs to be involved. It actually needs to be more than involved. It needs to be really intrigued as to what it is that we're doing, because we really need their participation. And we also need markets that are both fair and flexible. And the technology needs to be robust and reliable in order to deliver this project. So the first of these is the community angle. And in Oxford, we're very fortunate that there is a very high calibre of people who are very interested in the environment. So much so that Oxford was the first place in the whole of the UK to have a park and ride scheme all the way back in 1973. So the picture that you can see of the hydro station, that is called Sandford Hydro and sits on the River Thames. And it's an example of a community energy scheme where the local community got together and managed to raise the financing and to get the planning permission and all the things that you need, the connection and the power purchase agreement together in order to make this happen. And it was with the help of one of our partners who are called the Low Carbon Hub, and they are a community benefits organisation. So all the money that they make, they reinvest back into the community, into more renewable projects. So that is an example of something on the larger scale in the local energy space. And then on the other side, we have the Solar Schools programme. So this was where Oxfordshire County Council and the Low Carbon Hub got together and decided that there were going to be solar panels on every school in Oxfordshire. So this is a programme that is ongoing, and there have been a few issues around the connections because Oxfordshire is a constrained area. So we've been able to negotiate with the schools and get a flexible connection in place for some of them because the demand curve of a school is very specific. So those are just two of the plug-in projects that we have, and there are approximately another 50 more that are coming online during the course of the project. So once we've got enough participants, then we can start thinking about the markets. And the partner that we have in the market space is Piccolo, and they have a special separate platform for all of the participants who are participating in LEO, and they are registering them all there so that when we start the flexibility trials, the information will all be sitting on the system. And this is trials not just for flexibility behind constraints, but also for peer-to-peer trading and also for capacity exchange or access rights. Now, to put it into context from a DSO point of view, in the transmission space in the UK, we've had 20 years to get this right. We've started off with a pool system, we've moved into new electricity trading arrangements, better EMR, capacity markets. There's a whole raft of things that have happened that have made that a fully functioning market. Whereas for DSO, we're trying to do this in a much shorter space of time. And in order to do that, we're going to need very sophisticated systems that can manage all the increased amount of data that we're going to have. And we also need to have a really strong relationship with the local communities who are going to be providing this energy. So alongside that, we also need to develop some market rules, and that is one of the things that's coming out of the project. And we do have some preliminary market rules which we are trialling at the moment through a series of market-based games. And we've invited all the key players in the energy industry. So we've had aggregators, suppliers, generators, everybody looking at these rules and basically trying to see how they could possibly break them. So those have been good days where we've sat down and had scenarios and put in all sorts of different angles to make sure that we are providing robust rules to the market. So this is the only slightly complicated slide that I have, and it shows the energy exchange that we are hoping to see through the project and all the different information exchanges. So the project is divided up into 6 different work packs. The one that I was just talking about with the markets is work pack 2. So that's here, that's the flexibility exchanges and the technology platforms. And then work pack 3 is the distributed energy resource, and that is led by the Low Carbon Hub. We have the university who are leading on work pack 4. They're looking at the spatial planning and the interaction of the different energy systems that I was talking about earlier. And then we also have the transition project. So the transition project is funded by Ofgem, and it lasts for 5 years, and it's run by Scottish and Southern Electricity Networks. And it's very much looking at providing 2 proof of concept systems that are going to sit in the DSO space. So the first one is the whole system coordinator, and it's going to very much interface with the systems that we already have in the DNO. So looking at the switching and the way that we can make the whole system work from that point of view. And then we also have the neutral market facilitation platform, which is going to look at everything that is on offer through the flexibility platforms and choose the best thing that is going to work the best for the network. So we are at the moment at the stage in the project where we've done the inception. So we just started in April, and we've had the first 6 months getting that set up. And now we are moving on to our minimum viable system. So we're kind of using an agile route to bring the thing forward. And we have 2 minimum viable systems set up at the moment. One is for the Oxford Bus Company, so we're trialling there. We've got LV monitoring in, and we're looking at the data. And then we have another one coming along at Sanford Hydro, where we're going to be doing a similar thing. And all the learning from the project is going to be published on the website. So if anyone wants more information, please take a picture of the slide, and that way you'll be able to go and see what it is we're doing. And overall, Project Leo will be showing how the smart local energy systems are going to help towards our net zero target. Thank you.